Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Harrington, and I am one of your nutrition coaches. And today's topic is going to be right strategy. We're going to talk about why it's important to have one and how to develop one. So, whenever you have a right strategy, it's going to help you reach your goals. It's going to help you clear your thinking, narrow your vision, and so that way you can accomplish what it is that you're setting out to do. So, the definition of right strategy: a specific plan of action designed to achieve a goal. So, plan is your first blank, designed is your second blank. A specific plan of action designed to achieve a goal. So, whenever you are wanting to do something in life, whether it's, like I said, your health journey or something in your marriage or your job, you have to have a strategy. A strategy is a game plan or a map of how you're going to get there. So let's define a couple more things. So let's define process goals and let's define product goals. So product goals are things that you want to end up with. So at the end of whatever time frame that you have, or at the end of, like, say, just say this transformation group, or at the end of your the summer or whatever, you want to have a specific goal met. So let's just say you want to lose 10 pounds. That's your product goal. That's what you want to end up with. That's the product goal. So process goals are the things that lead up to your product goal. So process goals would be things like, okay, I'm going to meal prep, or I know I'm going to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm going to take afterburn class. Those are things that help you reach your goals. And there are things that you do along the way. The process is like the journey part, and you can't get around that. That's something that you have to do in order for you to get to your product and to live in your product goals. So, how do I develop a strategy? Okay, number one, you define the problem and the goal. Okay, so a lot of times clients will come to me and they'll say, I just have a problem with my nutrition. Okay, so you need to be specific about your problem and specific about the goal. And whenever you identify them both, it gives you clarity. So, like I said, like going back to that example, they'll say, my nutrition, it just stinks. Okay, so let's be more specific with your nutrition. So, are you saying, okay, maybe I'm overeating, or I eat too fast, or I emotionally eat? Like, that's defining the problem. So, be specific about the problem. Okay, that way, whenever you define both, it helps you to create a strategy. It helps you to know and have a plan of attack. If you don't know what the problem is, if you don't know what the goal is, you're not going to understand what you're doing. You're not going to know which way you want to go. So you have to be able to define both. And like I said, that's going to give you clarity. Number two, count the cost. So you're going to basically ask yourself, are these problems worth solving? Is this goal worth achieving? You're going to really think to yourself, because maybe you have to adjust your schedule. Maybe you need to think about your time and what all you've got going on, and how much effort it's going to take to get up early, and about grocery shopping and all these different things. Is this problem of my nutrition, of me overeating, or whatever the case is that your problem is it worth solving? And then this is where it comes back also to the exercise of finding out what your why is, what your reason is for wanting to be healthy. What is it? What is your reason? Like, what's that deep seated reason for why you want to do this program? And then ask yourself, is this goal worth achieving? Is it really worth it to me? Is it worth going through all of this headache and this struggle and this hard work? Is it worth it? So you're asking yourself these things. So whenever you're making your right strategy, you're going to talk to yourself, you're going to write it down, you're going to talk to somebody else, and you're going to count the cost. So number three, you're going to shift your focus. So this tells you where to direct your efforts, and so that way you don't have any wasted movements. This is going to help you direct your attention going towards your goal. That way you have a clear vision. And that's why I like these two pictures, because it's vision. It's thinking about, okay, my focus is not going to be on all the unnecessary things around me. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to go here, there, and everywhere in my mind or physically. I am going to focus on what my goal is. My goal is, let's just say I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, great. Let's think about process goals. Let's think about how I'm going to get there. Let's think about being consistent. Let's shift your focus onto, okay, is it worth me reaching this goal? Is it worth me putting all this effort in? Let's shift your focus. Let's have a laser vision into where you're headed. So that way you don't have any wasted efforts. That way you're not just kind of here, there, and everywhere doing whatever. You're focused. You are ready to go, and you're going in a straight line. So number 4, and these are your blanks. What are the roadblocks and hindrances to my goals? And examine what can potentially trip you up. So this is really important too. I think oftentimes we don't examine these things or think about these things whenever we are desiring to make a change. We just think, okay, it's going to be great. Let's just plan this out, and I'm going to get there. Okay, but life happens. Things happen. Your job might get in the way, or maybe your kids are super busy with their events. Okay, these could possibly be roadblocks and hindrances to reaching your goals. So now you got to step back. You got to come up with a right strategy, hence the teaching. We're going to come up with a strategy for you to be able to get to your goals. Okay, yes, I'm a busy, crazy mom, and I know that in order for me to eat healthy and to reach my goals, I have to meal prep, or I have to come up with different ways for me to have on the go foods. That way I'm not just snacking at the ball game, and I'm not just giving into my feelings and my emotions, and I'm just eating them away. No, I got to be intentional. I got to be purposeful, and I have to come up with a right strategy in order for me to be successful and to reach my goals. So like I said, think about the roadblocks and hindrances that could be coming up in your life that could potentially trip you up, that could potentially derail you for a second and get you back on. So we want to identify those things, because it's going to make things a lot easier. If you know that maybe time management could be an issue for you, okay, let's look at that. Let's look at, okay, maybe we could schedule your day. Let's write everything down. Let's look at it. Okay, I know I have some time here that I can do this, or okay, maybe I can go to the gym here on this day. I can fit this in here. So it's just looking ahead at things before they surprise you, and then you're completely derailed. And we obviously don't want that. So number 5, a plan of action. So what is a plan of action? A plan of action is something that's well thought out. It's simple to implement, and it's realistic, and it's got to bring you pleasure. It's got to be all of these things. So a plan of action is not something that you just buckle down and just, barrel through it. No, it's something that, like this guy down here on the right, he's looking at his board. He's thinking, okay, this is my goal. I got to go here. I have to look at this. Let me consider this over here. So he's trying to cover every single angle, which is very important, like I said, for your transformation and in your health journey. A plan of action has to be simple. The more complicated that we make something, the much less likely that we are to actually accomplish it. Whenever we put all these rules and regulations on ourselves, and we got to do this, we got to go here, we got to go there, we got to do all these things, it makes it really difficult to put it into practice. That's why in this program, part of your plan of action is your healthy habits that you're learning along the way, like smart carbs and lean protein and healthy fats. And we only give them to you one at a time. And that way you practice it for 2 weeks. Okay, great. You got that one under control. Great. Let's add another one. So we're not giving you all the habits at once for you to be distracted and go 25 different directions and try to learn all this information and make it complicated. No. So do one thing, make it simple to implement, and that way you can be successful and you can add it along the way. This is not something that you have to do all at one time. This is something that you can add along the way. And also, it's important to be realistic. So if you're a really crazy, busy mom, it's not really realistic for you to say, okay, I'm going to work out 6 days a week, which is not healthy anyways. But for you to say, I'm going to work out 6 days a week, I'm going to work out for an hour at least, and then I'm going to come home, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and this. Like, that's not realistic. Okay. So let's scale it down. Let's make it something that's simple, well thought out, and realistic. And then it has to be something that brings you pleasure. If it's something that is like drudgery, or that you're just annoyed with, or that you just dread, like you're not going to complete it. You're not going to go through with it. So it has to be something that makes you happy, that brings you pleasure. In another teaching, we talk about pain versus pleasure. Pleasure is something that we pursue and that we seek. If it's something that's bringing you pain, you're going to avoid it at all costs. So we don't want this plan of action to bring you pain. We want it to bring you pleasure. It has to be something simple to implement also. And then also, one strategic choice at a time, one strategic day at a time, when you do it consistently, it's definitely going to get you closer to your goals. So we're not asking for perfection by any means. We're just wanting you to be able to come up with a great game plan, a great strategy that you've thought about, that you've defined, that you've counted the costs, that you've shifted your focus. You've had a great realistic plan and it's thought out. And whenever you do that, one day at a time, one choice at a time, whenever you do it consistently, you're going to get to your goals. And that's what we want. We don't want you to try and overhaul your entire life in a matter of a week and then wonder why the following week you're just like, oh, screw this. This is awful. I'm not doing this ever again. We want this to be seamless, something that is challenging, obviously, but that's something that's going to help you get towards your goals. And whenever you do something consistently, that's how you're going to get towards your goals. So it's one choice at a time, leads to a great day, leads to a great couple days, to a great week, to a great month. And that way you're going to reach your goals, and you're going to get there whenever you're consistent and whenever you have the right strategy.